Good afternoon, everyone. In today's update, we are going to examine the upcoming weather pattern, and we will begin with a brief look at the major winter storm that is still concluding its journey across the northeastern corner of our nation. We will also be looking into the very active and very cold pattern that we expect will continue for the central and eastern United States. As I mentioned, we will keep this update concise for you today. I have been preparing some detailed materials for our Prestige Weather online community, which you can learn more about by following the link in the description just below this video. I have been doing a great deal of work there. The information is in the announcements section if you would like to see it. We have been incredibly active tracking this snowstorm and discussing other potential systems on the horizon, so please feel free to join the conversation. Looking at this current storm, it is certainly a powerful and dynamic one, and it has produced a wide variety of impacts. We have observed strong rotating thunderstorms known as supercells just offshore of the Outer Banks, and some of those did manage to move onshore. This resulted in some quite severe thunderstorms. Many areas underneath the main system experienced very heavy rainfall, and we also saw significant wintry weather across many different locations, which is still ongoing in some places. In fact, the snow is still coming down quite heavily for many areas throughout New York State, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and portions of Connecticut. It seems the only northeastern state largely spared has been Rhode Island, for the most part, where only the far northern areas are seeing some snowfall. This has been quite a memorable storm, so we would be grateful if you shared your photographs with us. Any videos or similar things that you captured would be wonderful to see. If you experienced this snowstorm, please feel free to share it in our online weather community. We truly enjoy seeing your experiences. We are even holding a December photo contest, so we encourage you to submit your entries. Now, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the forecast models, starting with the European model. It is clear that by the very early morning hours of tomorrow, this storm system will have concluded. By tomorrow afternoon, we will be left with very cold air in its wake. There will be some snow showers throughout the Rockies and the northern plains, as well as around the Great Lakes. However, for the most part, our main snow system will have moved out and will be finished. We can see that, as we move toward Thursday, we still have this northern jet stream digging down into the central states and then heading eastward, with the southern jet stream infusing it with moisture. This will be the next winter storm system we need to watch. At the moment, it does not appear to be a major event, but the essential ingredients are present for this to potentially develop into something a little more interesting. There is certainly no guarantee that will happen, but the chance exists as this system moves across the south. We do see some snowfall indicated for Kentucky, West Virginia, and Virginia here on the European model for this Friday, which is just a few days from now. I feel this particular system is not getting enough attention. It then moves up into parts of the Mid-Atlantic, including Washington, D., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. However, the model does not show it tracking up the coastline. There is still a chance that this system could trend toward a track farther up the coast, which would lead to more significant impacts for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. But for now, we see this system sliding straight out to sea with minimal impact. Then, immediately afterward, we see another potential threat because that southern stream of the jet is extremely active, and this colder air is remaining in place up here to the north. We see a second system moving through. This one does not appear to be much of anything regarding snowfall, but it does involve a great deal of moisture very close to very cold air. If this system trends northward, we could be looking at something interesting just a little farther north than this model is currently showing for Saturday into Sunday. That would be on the 6th and into the 7th of the month, so we have numerous threats on the horizon. As we move on, we see a lot of different fast-moving clipper systems moving through. The temperatures actually get colder as we approach the 7th, 8th, and 9th. That will be late this weekend and into early next week. We do see the continuation of these clipper systems moving through. Here is one for the Midwest on Tuesday, the 9th. It does move into the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast, developing into a small low-pressure system offshore. This is a fairly classic setup, and that will be occurring as we move from the 9th into the 10th. That one does not look particularly significant, but we see another one right behind it for the Midwest on the 10th, moving into the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. This second one does become a more substantial offshore low-pressure system, just off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast for Thursday, the 11th. this would pose a potential snowfall threat for many of these areas. We can see moderate to heavy snowfall appearing on this particular model run as of now. And then, according to the models, we see a switch in the overall weather pattern. We see the main jet stream actually building a ridge toward the east, and this starts to carry winter storms more toward the northern plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes. Again, much like what we saw fairly recently, we see one system go by, and then we actually get a very significant western snow system toward the end of the forecast period. This pattern change appears to be happening after the 10th on these models. So, much of this is beyond 7 days out, and most of it is even beyond 10 days out. Therefore, it is important to view this with some caution, but I have noticed this trend developing on the models. As we take a look at the GFS model, we see our current snowstorm move out. We then get this coastal system that is actually much less impactful on this GFS model for now, around the 5th and 6th. Then we see another one move in behind it. This one appears more substantial on this particular model. We see Missouri and Illinois experiencing some snowfall on Sunday morning. As we move forward, states like Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio start to see some activity. At 1 a.m. on Monday, December 8th, we see West Virginia and Virginia getting some snowfall. And then, as we continue onward, we do see parts of the Mid-Atlantic get in on some snowfall as this low develops offshore into a rather substantial system. This is only 5 or 6 days away, which we consider the medium range, so it is definitely something to keep an eye on. This will surely be the next system that we talk about a great deal, not only here on our channel, but also within our online community. Now, as we continue with this forecast, we see that system moves out. We start to get the same trend of clipper systems, where these systems move from the Midwest around the 10th into the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, and then eventually impact the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So, we have a very similar setup to the European model, with even another one moving through, bringing some Mid-Atlantic and Northeast snowfall again around the 12th and 13th. So again, there are numerous opportunities for snowfall. But, similar to the European model, we see this pattern completely flip after the 12th, turning into a warmer in the east and colder in the west pattern. So overall, the precipitation on the European model does start to increase out west. We have seen a significant upward trend there, and we continue to see this southern stream moving across the southeastern states, which brings a lot of precipitation there as well. The precipitation anomaly maps reflect that, showing a lot of activity out west and a lot of activity for the southeast. The total snowfall on the European model is more elevated out west than in previous model runs because of that increase in activity. We also see quite a bit for the northern plains, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and more on the way for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. It appears the GFS model is going to concur. The West sees an increase in activity. We still see the plains, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes seeing some action. But the bigger story is the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, where both of these models are showing heavy snowfall totals even after our current ongoing snow system that is happening right now. Looking at the temperature pattern, we do see colder air heading into the east one time, a second time, a third time here, and perhaps a fourth time in there. Then we do warm up right after the 12th on this model. It looks like at the very end of the period. However, there is another major Arctic blast on the way towards the east. That is not very relevant at this time because it is 360 hours out. On the GFS model, we get one major cool down, two major cool downs, three major cool downs, and then almost a fourth, very minor one, and then we do warm up after the 12th, just like the European model. So both of those models do agree on this. I will say the ensemble guidance does not look too bad. This is for the 7th through the 17th. It is still very warm in the west and very cold in the east. This is the European ensemble model. And then we have the GFS ensemble model. It shows the same thing. Warmer out west, colder in the east. This is excellent agreement between these ensemble models, both for the 7th through the 17th or the 8th through the 18th time frame here. So, there is good agreement that the long-range outlook does still look quite favorable as we approach and pass the midway point of the month. Now, again, I do apologize for keeping this update so brief with all of you. I have been working on a number of things today, so I appreciate your patience with this later update. I do hope you found it informative. We invite you to subscribe as we upload a new forecast every single day. You can even select the bell icon to receive daily notifications so you never miss an update. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. We always enjoy reading your comments down below, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video.